Welcome to Realtors Unfiltered, where we pull back the curtain on the world of real estate. No fluff, no filters, just real stories, real advice, and the realities of buying, selling, and everything in between. This is your host, Inas Latif. Whether you're a client looking for your dream home or an agent seeking inspiration and insight, you've come to the right place. Let's get started. Today we have with us in the studio Maha Hammad, who's one of the top loan officers in the area. Thank you, Maha, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I wanted to talk a little bit today about the secrets behind your fast success. So my first question to you is, when did it click for you?
It actually clicked right away. The biggest thing for me, I come from banking. I used to do commercial banking. I used to work at Bank on Buffalo. And the biggest thing to me with every client that I would speak to, it's very important to have good quality customer service. So I genuinely care for my clients. I mean, I think probably that was my fast track to success. My clients quickly became aware of how I felt and how I really, truly, from the bottom of my heart, wanted to help them with the transaction and hold their hand if needed.
That's wonderful. What was the hardest part about starting out for you?
Learning the systems. The systems on our end is really probably the hardest part for anybody to kind of, learn and navigate coming from different companies. But quick learn and, you learn fairly quickly. And I would say that was probably the only obstacle that I saw coming my way.
Mm-hmm. So learning the mortgage process itself was not difficult for you, but the systems, using different systems, was more challenging?
The mortgage process did not come difficult. Honestly, it helped me put my thinking hat on. It challenged me in that sense where I do love thinking outside the box. So I think that's why I love my job so much, is that I think we do have to put our thinking hats on so often, and that's what I like to do. So.
Yeah, because every situation can be different.
Every situation is different.
Yeah, I know we face that a lot with clients. Every buyer is different. Every situation is different. Every closing is different. And we do have to think out of the box to be able to service our people properly.
And you have to think fast.
Yes, definitely. And get them to their end goal for sure. How do you build those strong relationships? So you mentioned earlier that your clients started noticing right away that you cared and so forth. Obviously, our business, your business, is a relationship business. So what do you do to build those strong relationships?
Be yourself. I really, truly, I think that's where, a lot of people come in and they try hard. But just be yourself. Let people learn to know the authentic you. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the key for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think when you're yourself and you're authentic yourself too, you attract the right type of people to you as well.
Naturally.
Where you and them would work together much more easier, and it's more organic and it feels comfortable for both parties, as opposed to attracting the wrong client to you. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but maybe the personalities don't mesh. And now you're both struggling to understand each other and help each other get 100%. To the end goal. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. I think it makes our job much more enjoyable too.
100%. You gotta find your people, not just in your job, also in real life, right?
Yes, absolutely. Oh, it's interesting that you said that. It's in real life and in your job, your work life. Got to find the right people.
You do. You have to be true to yourself.
Yeah.
I have 3 kids and I'm constantly lecturing. Whatever you do, just always stick to the true you. Never deviate from that.
Yeah. Yeah. Hard sometimes, right?
Well, because of the multifaceted world that we live in, yes. But, always be true to yourself, because at the end of the day, that's where you're going to find the most success if you're proud of who you've become, because you really didn't deviate from who you are.
Yeah. I would say also inner peace. Most success and most inner peace too, when you're yourself, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. Takes time to get there sometimes for people.
It does.
Yeah, it's hard work. What mindset drives you and drives your growth? You wake up every day, every day is a challenge. Yesterday may have been exhausting or a good day.
Growth. I'm always looking for growth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really not just also in our pocketbooks. It's growth as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
You always have to wake up every morning and say to yourself, what can I do better tomorrow? Whether it's that simple file, whether it's that friendship that you're in or your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
What can I do better? And that's how you continue to grow and be better in life, period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do believe it starts with taking care of your own self in so many ways. What can you do better for yourself first? Mentally, physically, right? In all the different ways. And then maybe that can translate to your life and work life. Do you agree?
I do, but it takes time to also learn that, right? Learning that you need balance, you need self-care in life. And sometimes, I remember when I was a young mom, I lost myself for a few years because I had to put them first, right?
Mm-hmm.
But always learning that at the end of the day that you need to find time for you. Mm-hmm. It's important. Mm-hmm. But it took me a long time to have that discovery in place when you're a young mom, that is.
Yeah. Interesting you mentioned that because I find a lot of moms, myself included, don't prioritize themselves, or I didn't either. And again, you can't pour from an empty cup. We keep saying that, right? But we also have that mom guilt that comes with if we did take some time for ourselves or something that's good for our mental or physical health. How did you overcome that? And what advice do you have to other moms right now?
You will reach a point of burnout.
Mm-hmm.
It's only natural. And it's okay. But you just learn from what just happened and transpired right before your eyes, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, I did reach that point. I was working, taking care of the kids, coming home. I'm an overachiever. So even in my own
competitive
home,
in nature.
Yeah. I am. Even when I walk through my home, the minute I step foot, I know if something's out of line. Mm-hmm. So I just learned to let go.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's a big statement because, again, I think part of it is mom guilt. Part of it is maybe, we strive to be perfect or have everything perfect. And especially moms who are trying to work outside of the home, they want everything perfect in the home so they don't feel potentially that they're slacking or not doing all the right things for their home because they work or because they decided to take time for themselves to maybe work out or go for a walk or whatever, right? And too hard on ourselves in so many ways. So you're saying that the way to overcome that is let go a little bit.
Let go a little bit. And that's a difficult statement for me to say, as you know.
Yeah.
But letting go to a degree. I would have a cup of tea at night, right? Yeah. I would make sure that I dedicate a good 20 minutes to myself.
Yeah.
I wake up every morning at 5 a.m. and I do my workout. I love my morning workouts. I really never, used to do that as a young mom. I used to just kind of squeeze in a walk with the kids in the stroller, and that was the best I could do. And then I stopped. I went back to running. That was my passion when I was young. So I went back to running. Yeah. Started working out every morning. And when I'd get back, if I can find at least 5-10 minutes where I just sit in my sunroom and have my cup of coffee and start my day and just reflect on everything that I'm about to accomplish that day. And it really, truly helped me be more successful as a mom, a wife, and as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So self-care, you brought it up earlier, but now you're talking about all the other ways that you take care of yourself, which I'm assuming that's how you define self-care.
Yes. You always have to go back and hopefully, try to fit in some of the things that you do find as peace for yourself.
Yeah. Because often people think self-care or women think, I needed a spa day. That's my self-care, But self-care is really a daily thing that you need to carve a little time and make an effort to do for your own mental health.
100%.
Yeah.
I come home all sweaty after running and my husband looks at me. Wow, really? This is what you wanted to do to relax? I'm like, God, it was so invigorating. You just don't understand, you know? So.
Well, it helps the hormones and cortisol, happy hormones, right? All of that, and definitely makes you more focused the rest of the day.
You find your peace. I mean, at the end of the day, it's finding your peace. What can I do to find my peace?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So if you woke up and you were grumpy that day, what would you do to change that mindset?
I'm never grumpy.
I wake up grumpy almost every morning.
No, I just wake up and I'm always grateful for everything I have in life. And when I find myself in a moment of, okay, I'm not happy, what can I do? I'm like, well, I should be grateful for everything I have right before me right now. Children, family, friends, job.
Yeah. So it's a reminder of what you should be grateful for.
Reminder.
That's beautiful.
Maha,
you shared with us that you caring about the clients and building the relationship with your clients is what helped you become so successful so fast in your industry. But what sets you apart from other loan officers or lenders out there that the clients see?
That's a tough question. There's a lot of good loan officers out there. I'm just going to applaud because our industry is really not that easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to really applaud all the loan officers that are out there. But what perhaps might set me apart, it's going to go back to that word of, we spoke earlier, authenticity, the care. Clients really know, if who's there for them at the end of the day. And I think that's what they want. They want somebody who is going to educate them, support them in the process, and definitely maybe be their long-term friend afterwards, right? So I don't want to give away all my tricks, but that's the biggest piece that I have to say that probably maybe differentiates me from the rest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, we all know that a real estate transaction, along with the lending part of it or process of it, could be very stressful for some people. It could be an emotional roller coaster. There may be some issues that come up that are expected or unexpected in some cases. And clients, sometimes are under a lot of stress with all of it. And along with that, their situation, whatever situation that's causing them to make that move. How do you keep clients calm in these situations?
I'm a real good therapist.
Oh, God.
I laugh, but they know I'm a phone call away.
Mm-hmm.
And I start the transaction where I do tell them, just please know I'm a phone call away. And I really do try to simplify.
For the record, you're not a registered therapist, right?
No.
Okay.
No, but I do try to make the process as simple as I can.
Yeah.
I really do collect a good chunk of the documentation that is needed for the process up front.
Mm-hmm.
So that way we can eliminate some of these unforeseen issues or hurdles that you can, possibly go through in a transaction while you're doing the mortgage. So, just kind of keeping the process clean
Mm-hmm.
is probably what, I really try to pride myself in for the client. But even if something arises, I'm there to hold your hand. I'm there to help you every step of the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever had a client get nervous and wanting to back out, or a client that was upset with the process and wanted to give up? And how did you deal with that situation?
Often. A lot of first-time home buyers really do go through these feelings. So just walk them through and help me understand, what are you scared about?
Mm-hmm.
Is it that monthly mortgage payment?
Mm-hmm.
Is it the total cost? Let's maybe recalculate. Let's take a look at a different scenario that might fit you better.
Mm-hmm.
It's just being there and listening to them. And really, truly listening is probably the biggest key,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's the mortgage loan officer or the agent.
Right.
We really have to listen to our clients and their needs.
Right. Absolutely. And it is a big step, right? If they're a buyer and going through the mortgage process, it's usually one of the biggest or largest investments in their whole life, really. If they're a first-time home buyer, they're even more nervous and anxious about the whole process and the commitment of what's coming with purchasing a home and having a loan now, right? So you're absolutely right. We have to listen and help them navigate through these difficult moments that they might experience during a process.
100%.
Yeah. How do you simplify your communication? In your industry, you're not only communicating with clients, you're communicating with their realtors, maybe with your back end office, all of that. How do you manage it all and simplify it and make it happen every day?
I don't stop. Truly, and add this to the mix. There's some people who like to text.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people who prefer email.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people who prefer phone calls. So, throughout the day, I do kind of take my time. Like in the mornings, I'll wake up and send my emails out. Texting, I try to do if there's anything that I need to get to immediately. With texting, you have to get back to your clients or the realtor immediately. And phone calls, I do pick up my phone calls all the time.
Yeah.
If I don't pick up and you get my voicemail, I'm going to call you back within a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
I am that loan officer.
Yeah. That could be tasking on you, your family, maybe your friend group. How has your family and friends been accepting of you having to take phone calls or text messages at all times?
I'm a multitasker. I always have been my whole life. So I think I was meant to do this job. So they completely understand. And my friends do too, because my friends live similar lives, right? So sometimes you do attract people who are similar to you. So hence them understanding if you have to step away for a phone call.
That's so important. There are some people who maybe have a hard time understanding someone's position, like yours, and needing to step away. It's not really a choice. It's a need, and you must service your client or your agent, who might be basically is your client, because agents in the market are also your clients, right?
Well, what if a client's calling you?
Right.
Nervous, panicking. Am I going to be able to sit there, go through my meal, and not call them back immediately? I need to have them feel rest assured that I'm there to support them and help them every step of the way.
Yeah.
So if I miss that phone call and somebody's panicking on the other end, I'm not going to be able to sit down and relax and have my dinner, whether it's with my friends or family. So I have to excuse myself.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wonderful that you have friends and family that support you and support that and completely understand it.
I have the best friends.
Yes, you do. Often there are very tight deadlines with contracts and mortgages and home buying process and all of that. What happens, if a deadline got passed and we weren't able to close the loan, or how do you meet your deadlines? What do you do to ensure that we meet them?
Organization and communication is key.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, if a client or an agent will, come back to me and say, I want a 30-day close. Sure. But you have to help me. I can't just get you there on my own.
Right.
I need you to give me the documentation. I need the attorneys to be on the same page. I need us to communicate every step of the way.
Right.
To make this happen.
Right.
So really, truly, it's organization, communication are probably two biggest key components to that.
Everyone is wondering in this market, are interest rates going down? Are interest rates going up? I have a 2-point-something interest rate. When are they going back to that so I can make my move? Some people are waiting for house prices to go down. What's your outlook for the mortgage industry in the next few months, year, potentially 2 years?
Feds are meeting today.
Oh, God.
They're saying that the interest rates, they're not going to drop for this year. We might see a slight decrease, but not a huge decrease that we're all looking for. I do think if we hit the 5s, maybe next year after, we're going to start seeing the housing market kind of start expanding, hopefully higher inventory. We're struggling with the inventory in this market. Why would you walk away from your 2-3% interest rate? It was free money.
But if we see the 5s, to Barbara Corcoran's, going back to what she's saying in the market right now, if we see the 5s, that's going to drive prices up.
We hope.
Home prices will go up for sure. Because even though it may allow for more inventory if people are thinking about selling their home, because now it's at 5% that they can trade a home for, there's going to be a lot more buyers in the market trying to take advantage of that lower interest rate.
I think we're going to have more buyers. I think we're going to have more sellers.
Right.
We see the 5s.
Right.
My concern is Buffalo has really appreciated through the years. I mean, you as a realtor can attest to that.
Why is that a concern?
I don't know how much more we can go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. In terms of being affordable for home ownership.
I'm
for most
concerned
people.
for a lot of my clients.
Yeah. For some home buyers especially. Yeah.
I mean, the old $150,000 home now is $300,000. So affordability is going to be a concern.
But we don't think that prices will come down, do we?
No. In the housing market, I really, truly, I mean, that's why you should always work with an agent.
Yeah.
You should do your research. Obviously, you don't want to buy a lemon, but that's why you have a professional working and supporting you every step of the way with the transaction.
Yeah. Are we ever going to see 3% back or below 3% back?
Sadly, they're saying no.
Yeah. That was a special circumstance, right?
It was a special circumstance. It was a great circumstance, and that's what's causing our low inventory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, with that said, would you advise someone to go for it or wait if they're looking to buy a home?
Buying a home is really a need. It's supply and demand.
Mm-hmm.
If you need the home, don't wait.
Mm-hmm.
When interest rates drop, I mean, from historically, we see appreciation in price.
Mm-hmm.
Buy the home now and then come back and refinance when the interest rates do drop.
That's great advice.
That's what I would suggest to any consumer.
Maha, you talked a lot about your relationships with your clients, how close you get, how close you understand their situation, their wants, their needs, and help them navigate through the process. And they become your friends in so many ways. But if you had to pick one very memorable transaction or client, who would it be and why?
I have a very memorable transaction. I have a set of clients. When he first came to me, it was a year prior to him buying his home that he bought.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, he did the application for a $350,000 purchase price.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at him and his wife, and I said, well, you have a phenomenal job, and your wife is about to graduate and obtain her career, and the amount of income that's going to be coming in is pretty decent. Why is your credit score low? So we spoke about a few things, and I gave him some tips. Mm-hmm. I give tips, but sometimes people don't listen. He came back about 8 months later. His credit score went up into the high 700s. Mm-hmm. The wife had graduated from university, has a professional job in place. Their income was very substantial. They went from buying a $350,000 home to a $990,000 home.
Wow.
I turned that pre-approval to the realtor at that time, mm-hmm. and he looked at me. He's like, God bless. And those clients till today, we're friends. I'm so happy for the family. Having those kind of memories and being able to be such an instrumental part of their transaction in their lives, mm-hmm. You can't erase those beautiful memories. It's beautiful what we do every day.
Mm-hmm. In so many ways, instead of them having to settle for what could have been a temporary type of home and having to do it again in a year or two to find the home that they really want or comfortable in or suits their family, they were able to do it in one step mm-hmm. because you cared enough to look at their situation and give them that advice.
And I did hold their hand. I mean, he would call me every maybe 3-4 months and say, hey, Maha, this is where I'm at. Mm-hmm. I'm like, keep going. I'm here behind you, cheering you on.
He was committed.
He was committed. He really was.
Yeah.
Saved the money, fixed the credit score, and back they came.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. You shared with us a little bit about what you do for self-care, a couple of things that you do at night or in the morning, but what is your ideal day? Tell me exactly what your routine is and rituals are for your ideal day, whether that ideal day actually happens every day or it doesn't. What's your ideal day?
My ideal day, and I try to make this ideal day happen at least 5 times a week. Mm-hmm. I do wake up and work out. Mm-hmm. It's very important for me to get a workout in. After my workout, I'll jump in the shower, come back down, sit in my sunroom. My sunroom overlooks a pond. Mm-hmm. So I love just reflecting and sitting there for a good 15, 20 minutes. And then I have a 14-year-old. He'll wake up and I'll get him ready for school. And we leave together. He goes to school, I drop him off, and I go to the office and work. Mm-hmm. And work doesn't stop from there.
Right.
I do stay in the office every day until about 3 p.m., until I have to go back and pick up my son. And I'll get home, hopefully get to prep dinner. Most days I do not get to prep dinner because the phone, I'm constantly on the phone. I really am. Mm-hmm. I typically do not end my day until 6 p.m., 6:30.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's the day, every day.
And what do you do after that to maybe unwind?
Enjoy my family.
Mm-hmm.
My little one is in soccer, so 2 times a week we're at soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Or I call my friends and, we go grab a beautiful dinner together.
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes I'll take, I like to take long walks too,
Mm-hmm.
if weather permitting.
Right. It's always nice to be out in the fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fun fact about your life.
I also run a women's nonprofit organization.
Tell us more about that.
So I started working in the professional world about maybe 9 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I quickly realized that, women don't support each other enough.
Mm-hmm.
There's some women that do, because I don't want to take away from that, but we need more. So I decided to have a little get-together at my home in 2020. And it was very small. I just cooked, and I love to cook. I invited about maybe 100 of my clients that I had from the banking world.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought maybe 20 would attend. I had about 200 people attend, and I just had a little bag out where we fundraised and raised about a couple $100 that night. COVID happened, but a few of my friends are like, when are you going to do that again? And then I did it with you.
Right.
We set up a big tent in the backyard and invited a few businesses. We raised in a matter of 5 minutes that night. People were throwing money at us. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
We raised about $1,200 that night.
And it was during after quarantine,
Right after
actually. Right. So our goal was to not just raise money, but also support local businesses who were struggling and the side hustles of people who needed to figure out a side hustle because they're no longer employed. And we wanted to support these women as well who have small businesses and side hustles to get started.
Side hustle, support, network,
Right.
and also give back, right? I think that's the biggest piece that I always will hold dear to my heart is giving back to people in need.
Right. So that event gave back in many different ways under one event.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So a year later, I was telling an attorney, I was doing my research on what it takes to create a nonprofit. Magic number was that I kept hearing from all the attorneys is 25 to 40,000. I'm like, wow, just to do something good, it's 25 to 40,000. So then I found a wonderful attorney who said, you know what? I won't charge you my hourly rate. Just pay for the processing fees, and I'll get it done for you.
Mm-hmm.
A year later, we became a 501(c)(3), and we're called Power of the Pack of Western New York. We have a board of beautiful 12 ladies. We wouldn't be the group we are without all of us kind of pitching in and helping each other, but we put on different events every year. We give back to an organization or individuals that are in need. And honestly, it's the balance that I love. And I love seeing all these women together, supporting each other, helping each other, and women supporting each other.
Yeah. It's energizing and empowering.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Yes. Fun at the same time.
It's fun.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's networking and fun at the same time. And I think that's the balance that you need in life.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So if people are interested to learn more about your nonprofit organization, where can they find it?
We're on Instagram, Power of the Pack of Western New York, or you can find us on our website, powerofthepackinc.org.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we'll link it for you guys too. That's awesome. I love that story, and I'm honored to be a part of it, and be there by your side, supporting that dream
Thank
and
you.
that idea that you had that became so big and so powerful in our community.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. If you had the option to work from anywhere, where would be your dream location?
A deserted island. I'm a beach lover, so
You and I both.
yeah. I mean, if I can have that beach house overlooking the ocean, and I think just looking up from my computer, having a beach in my view, I could work all day.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it wouldn't feel like work at all.
No, right? And then in between, if there's any breaks needed, we can just go walk in the sand and enjoy the beauty of the weather.
Yeah, you'll be able to ground all day, every day.
Yep.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I have the same dream almost. Mm-hmm. What's one thing you would like to tell our audience before we end our podcast today?
Well, thank you for having me here.
Yeah, of course.
And, one thing I have to say is that our professions are not easy, but they are very loved professions and love what we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we made a lot of friendships over the years.
Beautiful friendships.
Meeting a lot of different people. Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Thank you again for being here with us, Maha, and for sharing your story, and also for sharing your nonprofit organization, Power the Pack, with us as well. And we wish you continued success.
Thank you. Same as well. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Realtors Unfiltered, where real estate meets reality. If you're ready to buy, sell, or explore joining our team, visit us at inaslatifsalesteam.com. Until next time, keep it real.